What's going on, everybody? Let's talk about Lucid. Now, in case you're not aware of who Lucid is, they are another electric vehicle company that actually comes pretty close to Tesla's. Let's take a look at their base models. So let's start with their base model, which is the Air Pure. Now, this one has 480 horsepower and it does about 410 miles of projected range. Up next, we have the Air Touring, which does 620 horsepower and about 425 miles of projected range. And finally, their highest end model is the Air Grand Touring, and it does up to 1,000 horsepower and up to 516 miles of range. This is the one that I actually got to test drive. We're going to talk about that one in a couple. And finally, they do have their highest end production car, which is their Air Sapphire. It does 1,200 horsepower. It does 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds and a max speed of 200 plus miles per hour. So this one would be the closest comparison to the Tesla Model Plaid. Now, you guys know that that one is supposed to be the highest production vehicle, but it recently got beat by this Air Sapphire. So the very first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the showroom. Now, this showroom was very similar to a Tesla showroom where they showcase the cars, the design. You can actually go inside the car, feel it, videotape it, record pictures, anything like that. It was very elegant. It was pretty empty, but very elegant. It had exactly what you needed, a bunch of screens, a bunch of iPads where you could actually customize and design your own car to your liking. So that was pretty cool. The next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the staff. The staff was amazing, very helpful, always there looking to see if we needed anything, offering their services if we had any questions. The guy that actually sat with us during the test drive was very helpful. He answered pretty much all the questions that I had. He actually told me that he had previously worked at Tesla, so he actually knew a lot about both cars, and we were able to have a really good conversation, comparing both vehicles and comparing both companies. He told me a lot of good things about Tesla. He also told me some things where Lucid is a little bit better. We're gonna get to those details next. Let's move on and talk about the design of the car. Now, obviously, these cars are beautiful. The quality build feels good, feels expensive, and that's what you want to feel in a car this expensive. The soft closing, the automatic front trunk, and the automatic trunk, they feel nice when the doors close. The interior build quality is a lot better than a Tesla. I have to give props to Lucid because they did a really, really good job at this. The screen responsiveness, the screen feels good. I had seen a lot of videos that talk about the screen glitching out or the screen not working. Now, that was in the past. That does not happen anymore. Over the air updates have been working and they fix these issues. That's what the over the air updates are for, to fix little issues like this, and they have. The screen responsiveness was amazing. All the controls, all the little features that the car has, the different driving modes. We're going to talk about how the car feels while driving now. Okay, so what does the car actually feel like when driving? I want to say it feels very heavy, which I'm not used to because I drive the Model 3, like you guys know. So it felt a little bit different. Now, that changed as soon as I went on the Swift mode, which is one of the 3 different modes that the car has. I automatically felt the change, and the Lucid worker actually told me about it, and he said you should feel the change as soon as you click the button. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as I clicked the button, the car almost lifted from the ground and it felt smoother. It felt like it weighed less. It felt like my Model 3, which is awesome to know in a big sedan like this. So that was really nice to have. Sadly, I didn't get to accelerate it as I wanted to because it was raining, so I wanted to keep it safe for everybody. But the car felt great. I have to admit, even though it felt different, it still had the same EV feeling, and the acceleration, even though I didn't do it as I wanted to, it felt good. It was nice. The car felt firm. It felt expensive. It felt like I was carrying that 120,000 that this car is worth. Okay, let's talk about the price because this is where I don't agree with Lucid, and I think that they are a little bit too overpriced for what they're worth. Let's take a look at the car that I test drove to see if it's worth what they're asking for. Now, the car that I test drove is the Lucid Air Grain Touring, which starts at $138,000. It gets you 560 miles of range and 819 horsepower. Now, that is amazing. That is really good for an EV. 500 miles plus is amazing. But I would argue that for 138,000 miles, I think they're pushing it a little bit too much with their pricing. Their prices are a little bit too much, in my opinion, and I wish that they were a little bit cheaper and more affordable for the average consumer. Now, if we want to go to a lower model, we can look at the Air Touring, which does 620 horsepower at 425 miles of range, which is still really good. It's better than the Model 3 long range. So let's take a look and see how much this one is. Now, the Lucid Air Touring starts at $107,000, which is a little bit better considering the range that you get and the horsepower that you get. The car looks amazing, it's stunning, but I wish it was a little bit cheaper still. $107,000. I think there's a lot more that you can do for $107,000. And finally, the Lucid Air Pure, which is their cheapest model. It starts at $87,400. It gets you 480 horsepower and about 420 miles of range. Now, for their base model, I would say this is not that bad. My Model 3, including full self-driving, was about 73,000. So I wouldn't say this is too bad, but still I'd like to see a cheaper Lucid that can be more affordable to the average consumer. Now, finally, I wanted to talk about the driver assistance system, which would be the equivalent of the full self-driving that Tesla is offering. Now, Tesla is currently offering the service for about $15,000, which in my opinion is not worth it, but that's for another video. Lucid's driver assistance is worth $10,000, and according to the Lucid employee, it uses LiDAR. Now, while Tesla uses the Tesla sensors and the cameras to drive the car and assist the car, Lucid is going to be using LiDAR, which is actual physical cameras and sensors on the car to allow the car to drive itself. Now this is a system that they are offering in the future. It is not currently available, and according to the Lucid employee, is nowhere close to what Tesla can do right now. But they are asking for $10,000, which I think it's way too much for a system that is not even out yet, and you don't know what you're getting for your money. So I would stay away from that. And with that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.